If you ask me what's called on time, I can't tell you, but it'll be on time.
1st of June, Rabbi Levitt, Gemorah.
Good morning, Phil.
Good morning. You have an echo. Are you on twice?
Oh, no. I'm still echoing.
Yes, I can tell you if you're on twice. Let me see if you listen. Let me take a look at the participant list. No, you're not on twice. No, there is an echo though.
Does everybody else hear the echoing?
Yes, I can hear the echoing also.
Okay.
Yeah, also I can.
Is that better now?
Yes.
Okay. The old trick, I just keep switching from the real tech to the audio or the whatever. For some reason that helps. Baruch Hashem. Hashem helps. Okay, so we're back to this sugi that we're still trying to figure out what's going on with it altogether. And let's see. Where did we get up to?
Um, 94b, the Gemara gave an answer that the Shala Hasafik Lahachazir ad Shema Shemes. The Bracer speaks of a case where he did not manage to return with the what do you call it? The thief didn't manage to return the stolen property before he died.
All right, very good. Very good, Roy. Thank you.
Hmm.
No,
Yes,
actually,
on the
it's not
ball.
stolen property, it's the interest.
Is that right?
It's the interest. They said that the father did tshuva. And the question was, if he did tshuva, then how come he didn't return the interest? And the answer was because he didn't get a chance to return it before he died.
Right, that's what I just said. So we agree. Good.
Good. I agree to
Okay.
agree.
Oh,
Okay,
now I can hear a bit.
that's
better.
very agreeable of you. Okay. So now the Gemara turns to the Gemara is going to turn back to this this discussion that it was involved in before with this Bryce over here, how it compares to the other Bryce that we were talking about. So let's go. We're up to, in other words, Toshma. Toshma. It is.
Okay.
See where this Toshma is?
It's just below where Roy just read.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 lines from the bottom. Toshma hagazlonim umal ve'aribis. So we call upon. We're going to call upon Roy to start off the reading.
Okay. Toshma, come learn. Here it says that what seems to be a contradictory ruling in another brisa, Gazelanim, Umalve, Birabase, robbers and lenders on interest, FLP, Shugabo, Machazerin, even though they have already collected, they return it.
Phil, I think you need to mute, please.
Okay,
Afa al pi shegavu machzirin. Oh, we got a Rashi on this. Rashi Afa al pi shegavu.
we'll try Alpha Pisha Govu, even though they collect it. Pisha Govu, the call chicane, and all the more so, logo, if he doesn't collect it. They make reading Stara, because he tore up his star.
Oh, so okay, let's try to figure out what this Bryce is saying over here. Somebody who's a Goslin, he takes something that doesn't belong to him from the person, or he charges ribis, which is a derisa. So Afu pi shegavu, even though he has collected the ribis, he's received it. Even though he's received it, the person has paid the ribis. Machzirin, the lender who received it should return it. He should return it to the person that he charged ribis from. So that's what it says in the Brisa. And Rashi says, Kol shekain lo gavu. All the more so is this so that he should return. All the more kol shekain lo gavu. All the more so if he has not collected the interest. All the more so what? If he hasn't collected it, so there's nothing to return. So obviously what Rashi means is what he says in the next two words. Demekreno shtara. All the more so where he hasn't collected it. He hasn't yet collected it, in other words. What should he do? He should tear up the loan document. And in that loan document, it provides for the payment of ribis. So you should tear up that document. Okay, so now. Let's okay, so the Gemorah brought this brisa. Fine. So now let's go further. Gemorah's gonna, I guess, analyze the words of this brisa a little bit. Roy, Lou, you want to continue with the words of the Gemorah?
Okay. Gazlanim, robbers, my shegavu ika. What they have collected is there.
Oh.
So my English says, what justification for the expression, even though they have collected, is there? Gazul, if they robbed, Gazul, they already robbed, and therefore they collected. The lo Gazul, and if they did not rob, lo Gazul, they did not rob, and they can't call them a robber.
If he didn't rob, then he's not a robber. Well, that's a brilliant statement of the Gemorah, if I don't say so
Ella.
myself.
Ella Ema, rather
Yeah,
say, in other words, let's understand the brisa as follows. Ha gazlanin umai nihu malve ribis. Okay, so robbers, and who are they? They are the lenders on interest.
yes.
The lender
Some
on
people
interest is considered to be-
rob. Yeah, some people rob with a pistol, and some people rob with a
Star.
fountain pen. Yeah.
Okay. Af al pi shegavu machazirim. Even though they have already collected, they must return.
Yeah. So everybody understand the Gemorah's question over here that
No.
we're now answering?
I don't understand that what this brisa is bringing up.
Okay, so good. So let's analyze, as Rabbi Schatz always used to say, and I guess he still says, but unfortunately I'm not able to hear him these days. Anyway, the brisa, the Gemorah brought the brisa, right? The brisa says gazlonim u malve beribis. Even though they collected, they got to return it. So on the face of it, right, the language of the brisa indicates that we're talking about two different types of people. There's people that are gazlonim, and there are people that are malve beribis. They're two separate groups of people that the brisa is talking about. And on both of them, the brisa says, Afo pisha gavo maksirin. Even though they collected, they got to return it. Okay, so that's what the brisa says. Gemorah is saying, wait a second over here. There's something here that doesn't make any sense. Gazlanim mashigavu ikka. What's this gazlonim that collected? They collected the gezel that they gazeled. What are you talking about? If they gazeled it, then of course it's gezel. They got it. And if they didn't do any gazela, so then they're not a gazlan. The words afu pisha gavu don't make any sense according to the gazlan. If he's a gazlan, obviously he's collected. What do you mean if he's collected? Doesn't make any sense. If he's not a gazlan, he did. So then can you tell me about a gazlan who collected, as opposed to a gazlan who did not collect? That's the Gemorah's question. The Gemorah says it in its pithy way that is the low guzzle, and if he didn't guzzle, low guzzle. So he didn't guzzle anything, and obviously he didn't collect anything either. So what's the brisa mean? But this question is not a question on the malva beribis. That we understand. That's what Rashi is pointing out. The malva beribis, what does he do? He makes up a contract, and he has a shtar, and the lova signs the shtar, and he gives it to the malva, and now the malva is holding a shtar that he loaned him $100,000, and he's going to pay him back $120,000. That's what it says in the shtar. So that's Ribit's Katsutsa. So in that case, we understand that even if he's already collected the $120,000, he's got to give it back. And Rashi says, and if he didn't collect it yet, then all the more so. He's got to tear up this document. So we understand how the words of the brisa apply to to the Malva Beribis. We don't understand how they apply to the Goslin. So now that's the Gemorah's question. So now what's the Gemorah's answer? Gemorah's answer is Ela Ema Hagazlanim my nihu. Who are these Gazlanim that the Brisa is referring to? My nihu, who might they be? Malve Rivis. That's who they are. Those are the Gazlanim that we're referring to in the Brisa. These Gazlanim, these ones who are Malve Beribis, even if they have already collected the 120,000, Maxirin, they got to give it back. Okay.
But there's still a problem, I think,
Yeah.
because Peshita, obviously, if they collected, they have to return it. If they didn't collect, they don't have to return it because there's nothing to return. What's this, even though they collected?
Oh, what's the Kiddush? It's like saying somebody that does Gezel, he's got to give back the Gezel. Even though he's already received the Gezel that he made a contract to receive, he's got to give it back. What would we have thought? That we would have thought that, oh, well, if the guy pays it to him, then he doesn't have to give it back. That's what we would have thought. Pshita, obviously he has to give it back. Oh, Gezel, that a person gazels, he's got to give back. What's the Kiddush of the Brisa?
Right.
Would that be if he stole a loan document? He should return. He should give that back.
What if he stole a star?
Yes, that's what he has to give back.
If he stole a star from someone, he has to return the star to him. Okay, the Gemorah is talking about what? Okay.
When we say he's collected, we mean that he's sort of gone and stolen. He's
collected the ribbis.
Yeah.
Even though he's already collected the ribbis, he's gotta go give it back.
Mm-hmm.
He has to give it back to the Leva. He's got to give it back to the person that he charged the ribbis, and the person paid him the ribbis. He's got to give it back to him. So Lou is asking was, okay, now you've explained the Brisa in that way, but it doesn't make the Brisa is hard to understand. Why do we need a Brisa to tell us this? What's the Kiddush? Obviously, if you have stolen property that doesn't belong to you, you have to give it back to the person that it belongs to. No, we need a Brisa to tell us that. It's obvious. What's the Brisa telling us? That's the question.
Isn't it?
That could very well be the question that the Gemorah has in the back burner over here. Because we're going to see in a minute what the Gemorah, I peeked ahead over here, what the Gemorah is going to say now. Take a look at what the Gemorah says now.
I was going to say, isn't it that if you got possession, then it's yours?
If you have possession of stolen property, that means it's yours.
Well, if you
Now you're starting to sound like a lawyer.
All right,
Don't be nasty, Rabbi.
That's what the lawyers say. Possession is 9/10 of the law. As long as you've got it, that means that it's yours.
no, all right.
Oh, 1 second. We can't say any jokes about lawyers over here. Okay, sorry about that.
Why? Who's a
No more
lawyer?
jokes about lawyers.
Who's a lawyer?
My wife,
Oh, well, she can't hear this.
she's a retired lawyer.
All right, then. So we're not talking about retired lawyers.
Okay, yeah. So let's now okay. We actually missed a Rashi over here. That was a couple lines back. Elo, because it seems to me like the Rashis were out of order. Let's see this Rashi, Dibra Maskavi, Elo Gozel, Lo Gozel.
Yeah. If he didn't steal, he didn't rob, he didn't rob.
Yeah,
Never
what's
mind, Corey Loguslin, so why is he called a robber if he didn't rob?
yeah. So that's what we want. That's what we got it right. That's what the Gemorah was asking over there in that step before we gave an answer. What type of a goslin is a goslin that didn't rob? Why do you call him a goslin? He didn't gosle, so he's not a goslin. So that's when we said, oh, what we mean when we say a goslin that didn't receive it, his gezel yet, we're talking about the lender of ribis. He has the contract in his hand. He's due to receive the stolen property, but he has not yet received it.
But that's stolen property. That star is stolen property, isn't it? The goslin has stolen the star and he wants to collect. Is that it? And he hasn't.
Oh, so that's so now. So so this is interesting here now. Before we get to the answer, that just to understand what the Bryce is saying over here, the goslin who we're talking about is the malva beribis, and we're saying even though he has not collected the ribis under the contract, rather the Bryce says even though he has collected it. So that's what the Bryce is talking about. The Bryce is talking about he has collected the ribis. So even though he has collected it, he's got to return it. So Lou's asking on that, what's the chiddush of this brisa? Even though he's collected the stolen property, he has to return it. Of course you have to collect. Of course you have to return stolen property. Obviously, what's the brisa telling me? You have to return stolen property. If you've received stolen property, and because you made a contract with somebody to pay you ribis, and he paid you the ribis, you have to give it back to him. Shkoyach. Of course you have to give it back to him. We don't have any havamina that you would not have to give it back to him, do we?
Unless you take Roy's suggestion, maybe there is a havamina that when he receives it, he acquires it in the act of receiving it, he acquires it. And now we're saying, even though he acquired it, nevertheless, he's got to give it back.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. That's an interesting point. When a borrower pays forbidden ribis to the malva beribis, does the malva beribis own this ribis that he's being given? He acquires it. Can he acquire this ribis?
Well, I would think not, but that it seems like the only plausible explanation of afal pi.
Even though he's acquired it and it's his now.
He
So if
hasn't,
it's-
he hasn't really acquired it. It was given to him. Or was first he's acquired it because it was in the contract. But still it was given to him voluntarily.
It was given to him, and the owner of the ribis is giving it to him. So it's sort of like Yeush. It's sort of like Yeush and Shinu Rishus. It's now going from the domain of the lender to the borrower. And so perhaps there would be an argument to be made to say that legally speaking, other than the fact that it's usher to do this, it's usher to pay it, it's usher to receive it, it's usher to write a document that provides for the giving of it. It's even usher for the scribe to write such a document, even. And for the witnesses to witness the document and fix their names to the document as witnesses, even though that was also, but I'll be the rules of acquisition, it would seem like we have an acquisition over here in the hand of the Goslin. So even though he's acquired it, he's still got to give it back. You might have thought to say that the only reason why a Goslin has to give back the thing that he stole is because he doesn't own it. It's not his. And over here, we're saying that it was willingly given to him. So not only is there a Shinu Rishus, but there is a willingness on behalf of the lender, of the borrower, to give it to the lender. So it's like Yeush. He's foregoing his ownership of it, and he's giving it to this person that he should own it. So even though he owns it, and we might therefore have said, well, in this case of stolen property, since it belongs to you, you don't have to give it back. Comes along the Brisa and says, no, you still have an obligation to give it back. Okay. Interesting. So let's take a look and see what the Gemorah. So that was your suggestion, Roy, over here. What's the Chiddush of the Brisa?
I think so.
Okay. Very interesting. Very good. Okay, so let's see what the Gemorah is answering over here.
Where's this?
Alan, you want to read for us?
Which page are we on now?
94B3, right-hand column. The very top of the page says the Gemorah answers.
More answers. Amre, they said, Macha Zirin, Ein Kabbalin Mehem. The Bryce means that they must return the interest money that they collected, but the victims do not accept it from them. Gemara asks, Lemor Macha Zirin, but if we do not accept it from them, why do they return it? Why? Gemara answers, La'as Yidei Shemayim, to discharge our obligation to heaven.
Okay, let's try to understand this over here. Do we have any Rashi, by the way? Maybe Rashi can help us out.
I don't think so.
No Rashi. Okay, fine. Gemara saying Amre. In other words, Amre is just that's just the Bnei Yeshiva. But generally, when we say Amre, we're answering a question that the Gemara has raised. So what's the question that the Gemara has raised that needs an answer?
I think what it's doing is it's trying to contrast this brisa with the brisa that we had previously.
Which brisa?
On the top of 94b,
Yeah.
where it says, robbers and lenders on interest return, but their victims should not accept.
Okay.
So that seemed to imply that, I see. The English says that they wish to return. They wish to return the money.
Yeah.
But their victims should not accept it. So that implies that they don't return. So now this brisa says they do return. And so that seems to be a contradiction. And so the answer is, just like the previous one said, the victims don't accept. So same thing here. The victims don't accept.
So what happens now to the money? Where was that brisa again, please, Luke?
The previous brisa is on 94b1, right-hand column, second paragraph.
Oh, I see. Thank you.
We said Ein Makablim. And if he's Makabel, Ein Ruach Chachamim Nochemen. Right, Ton Rabbanan, Gazlanim, Avaribis, Shehek Siru, that they make their effort to return their stolen property. Ein Makablim Mehen. We should not accept it back from them. V'Makablim Mehen, and the one who does, Ein Ruach Chachamim Nochemen. This is an indication that the Ruach of Chachma is not pulsating in his veins, according to Rashi's interpretation of these words. Ein Ruach Chachma v'Chasidus b'kirbo. He does not have the spirit of Chachma or Chasidus within him. If he's going to, this is an indication of that. If he's going to go ahead and accept the stolen property that the person stole from him. So it sounds as though he's not supposed to accept it. Over here in our brisa that we just got through reading, it says machzirin, even though they've collected it, machzirin. What does machzirin mean? How are you machzirin? Machzirin sounds like a fait accompli, as they say. It's a done deal. He did it. What he gave it, that means that the guy did receive it from him, no? It did receive it from him. And it sounds like that's that's what the Gazlan has to do, lechatchila, that she should receive it from him. So it sounds like that's the thing that the recipient should do, receive it from him. I understand that to be the stira. And
Well, I have a footnote here that introduces two conflicting motivations of the Torah or the sages. And that is, on the one hand, we have a biblical obligation to return the money. On the other hand, we have a rabbinic desire to encourage tshuva by not making him return it.
not making him return it, but he is returning it, this guy. So why
No,
should we
he's
use it?
not. He's not, because what happens is the sinner's offer to return the money to fulfill his biblical obligation is termed only a discharging of his obligation to heaven, since it is a payment that will in all likelihood be refused.
Oh, you mean he's just,
He says, here it is, I'm giving it back to you.
yeah.
He has just done the right thing in terms of heaven. Now the person who was cheated says, I'm not accepting it from you. So he doesn't give it to him. So in the end, he's motivated to do tshuva because he didn't lose.
The money stays in his possession.
The thief
Thief.
of interest keeps it. That's footnote 30, by the way, Roy. It's on 93B3.
Thank you.
I'm on 94B3.
94, right, thank
Now,
you.
just now, of course, we have to add something over here. This Goslin, who's coming to do this, one might think, so what's the tshuva that what is the tshuva that Chazal are accomplishing over here? This sounds like a Purim spiel. He's doing a Purim spiel. He says, "Here's the money," and the guy says, "Oh, I'm not accepting it. Oh, I did tshuva. Hashem forgave me." What kind of a Purim spiel is that? He's not doing any tshuva. He's just doing a Purim spiel. So the answer to that question is, right? He's not having to really. What does tshuva mean? Tshuva means you're doing something that's difficult to do, but it's not difficult to do a Purim spiel. That's not difficult. What's the tshuva involved? How is that? How are Chazal accomplishing that this person is doing real tshuva over here? They want to do that. They want the person that was stolen from to refuse it from him, in order to make the tshuva will flourish amongst the Klal Yisrael. How is it flourishing over here?
Maybe the only way would be to put it into tzedakah, communal tzedakah. That's otherwise he's.
Well, what's the accomplishment of what? I don't understand why. How are we accomplishing that this guy is doing tshuva if he's not giving it? Whether he gives it to tzedakah, whether he gives it to the guy that he stole it from, but if he's not giving anything, so what's the tshuva?
There isn't.
This is a takana that Chazal were they put down over here in order to effectuate the doing of tshuva by Gazlanim. How is it that it effectuates it might encourage them to do this, but what's the tshuva in what they're doing? It's a Purim spiel.
But if they do give it to tzedakah, that is tshuva.
But
They're not keeping
the Torah
it for
didn't say that
themselves.
the guy has to give it to tzedakah.
No, he
Gemorah
doesn't
just
have
says
to.
all he's got to do is give it to the guy that he stole it from, and the guy says, "Oh no, I'm not
Yeah.
taking it." And now now Chazal are very pleased. Why are they what are they pleased about?
Uh-huh. Okay.
What's been accomplished over here?
Is this a legal fiction, in other words? Is this a case? What's
I'll have
called
to
a
ask my
legal-
lawyer. I don't know. Okay, sorry.
All right, I don't
But
know.
what is art? How does the art scroll explain this? How does this takana work exactly? How does it work? What is the accomplishment that is accomplished through this takana that Chazal are making? This is what I don't understand.
It says in this footnote that Lou was using, it says here, since it's a payment that will in all likelihood be refused, and then it goes in brackets, and the biblical obligation of return is fulfilled by the sinner's offer, even though the recipient refuses to accept the money. And then it's got a few references, quite a few references here.
Okay, so they just said a huge chiddush over there. They just said that Mina Torah, it's already considered that he's made the Mina Torah, it's technically regarded as returning the stolen property if he makes the offer to return it. That's already called, he's fulfilled his Torah obligation to return this stolen property. So that, by definition, is called a step in the towards the direction of tshuva.
But he would have to be. He'd have to have sincerity. He can't sort of say, "Ha ha ha! I'm just going to offer this, and I know it's not going to be accepted, and I'm going to go and buy something."
Oh, so that was my next point. Does he know that the guy is going to say, "Oh, I'm not accepting this from you. I listened to Chazal"? How does he know that the guy is going to do that? Maybe the guy didn't learn this Gemorah. Maybe the guy did learn this Gemorah and he still wants his money. And when the Goslin offers it to him, what's he going to do? He's going to say, thank you very much. Thank you very much for returning this that you guzzled from me. That's what he's going to say. So it's not possible for the Goslin to make this offer and it not be some genuine form of offering to return the money. Because he does not know whether the recipient is going to refuse it out of hand. He doesn't know that. Maybe he won't. And if so, then what that means is that he is making what could be interpreted as a sincere offer of giving the money. And that is the Torah's obligation to fulfill the mitzvah of Heshiv es HaGezel Asher Gozel, to return the stolen property that you stole. Yeah.
Okay, it's time. Take care.
Oh, okay, very good.
You,
Yashikoya.
Thank you,
To
Rabbi.
everyone. Very interesting. Have a good day, a great day. Baruch v'atzlacha.
All right, thank you very much. See you tomorrow.
B'ezrat Hashem.
Be well.